to those who are dead. And I said, for this reason, the good news was also brought to those who are dead, so that whereas they are judged according to men in the flesh, they might live into Elohim in the spirit. So every man will be given the opportunity of hearing the good news. Every man. No, I don't want to really affirm that this is the way Yahweh is going to do it. Even those that have died and have not heard about the name Yeshua, have not heard the good news, there is a way they will afford the opportunity of hearing the good news. It is important. Because there must be a decision to reject or to accept. Either you accept the good news or you reject the good news. There will be an opportunity before every man that this is the good news. Take it or reject it. And so they are given the opportunity so that they can also live according to Elohim in the spirit. In verse 70, but the end of all has drawn near. Therefore be sober-minded and be attentive in the prayers. The end is drawing near. You see that this letter was written about 1,900 years ago. About over that anyway, 1,000 and probably 40 years ago. Saying that at that time said the end of all has drawn near. Yes, it is near. It's drawing near day by day, month by month, year by year. It's drawing near. The end is coming. But as it comes closer every day, we need to be sober-minded. We need to be sober-minded and attentive in the prayers, because the Spirit will always speak to us. The Spirit of Yahweh will always speak to us. So we have to be sober-minded, then be attentive in our prayers so that we can hear what it wants to tell us. There's need for soberness. There's need for soberness. Soberness gives us the opportunity to reflect. When we are sober, we have the opportunity of reflecting. You know, that's why the Ecclesiastes, it is better to go to the house of mourning than the house of celebration. Why? Because when in a house of mourning, there is soberness. In soberness, there is reflection. People are quick to reflect on life. When someone dies, people have the opportunity of reflecting on their life. But when to go to weddings, there's hardly an opportunity to draw a lesson from the wedding. There is no lesson really much, because people actively pay attention to the lesson of the wedding. Because the major lesson in the wedding is the wedding of the lamb that is coming, the marriage of the lamb. But from when you go to a burial service or you go to wedding, people definitely pay closer attention to one day I'm going to die too. What is going to be my portion? So we have to be sober-minded. We have to be sober-minded. Then at the same time we have to be attentive in the prayers. And above all, have fervent love for one another. Have fervent love for one another. We need to love one another. In fact, we cannot downplay the importance of love. When Yeshua was asked, what is the greatest commandment? He responded by saying the first one is loving Yahweh and the second one is loving our neighbors. So love is very important. We have to love ourselves, especially people that we belong to the same faith together. We must show enormous love. We must show fervent love for one another, giving ourselves to the other person or the other people. When we love, we give ourselves, as we are ready to let go of things for the advancement of life in another man, another person, another brethren. You don't begin to talk of myself, I, me. You talk about others. You want to see them move up. You want things to be better for them rather than just concentrating on ourselves. So because love covers a great number of sins. Love covers a great number of sins. We may want to look at it from the angle of when someone sins. then we show love, we cover that sin up. That is not what he's saying. Praise Yahweh. That's not what he's saying. By the time you are showing love, you are not going to fall into any sin. That's what it means. By the time you are showing enormous love, fervent love towards one another, then you find that the gates of sin, many of these sins will be closed up. If I love my neighbor, I will not grudge him. I'm not grudging. I will not want to kill him. I will not want to take his wife. I will not want to steal from him. That is how love covers multitude of sin. It's not that because someone sins and we love the person, we cover the sin up. That's not what he's saying. By the time we are showing enormous love towards one another, the opportunity to sin will not arise. The opportunity to sin will not arise. Because you will not steal, you will not speak ill of the person, you will not want to deceive the person, you will not want to take the person's wife, because the opportunities to sin will be covered up. And that's what he's saying, and that's that we must love from the heart. We must love. If you love someone, you will not begin to even your anger towards that person will be small. If that person does something that maybe gets you upset, the way you are angry will not be much, because your heart, something begins to plead on behalf of that person. Something begins to plead on behalf of that person. And so that is what he's saying here, that love covers a great number of sins. It's not that when the person has sinned, then because I love the person, I will cover up his sin. That's not what he's saying. But when we love, and we show that love, the opportunities to sin will be reduced. They will be reduced. And so that is what he's saying here. And in verse 9, it says, welcome one another without grumbling. Welcome one another without grumbling. We need to do away with grumbling. In fact, when we begin to grumble, grumbling comes mostly from selfishness. Because we are still probably thinking of ourselves, what we are losing, what we are supposed to get, and it's not coming, and begin to grumble. Oshe Milano is seeing they did something against me one day like that, the person show up, we begin to grumble, and all those ones. But when we love one another fervently, we will welcome one another without grumbling. As each one has received a gift, verse 10, serve one another as good trustees of the manifold favor of Elohim. We have to serve one another. Whatever relationship we have, whether from husband to wife, from wife to husband, from parents to children, from children to parents, there are from friend to friend, there are responsibilities that we have towards each other, and we must serve. We must serve one another. We must do it very well. We must do it very well. We must do it very well. We have responsibilities towards one another. We must make sure we carry out our responsibility. And that's why even in the epistles we are told that if a man does not provide for his household, he's worse than an infidel, an unbeliever. Because it's part of your responsibility to provide. And so you must make sure you do everything within your power by the grace of Yahweh to provide for your household. Husbands, love your wives. You do that. It's your duty. Wives, submit to your husbands. You do that. Because it's your duty to submit. It's your duty to submit. So we must do it. We must serve one another. Whatever is your responsibility towards the next person, ensure you do it. Ensure that it is done. We should not shy away from our duties. We should not begin to find excuse to run away from what we should do. We must ensure that we serve one another as good trustees of the manifold favor of Elohim. When he says we are good trustees, that means it has been handed over to us to do. And so we must do it as a good servant, as a good minister. Because if you don't do it, you are shortchanging that person of the grace, of the favor that Yahweh has brought to that person. If you are parents, you have to provide for your children. You have to treat them well. If you are a child or you have parents and they are growing old, it's part of your duty to attend to their needs. If you don't do it, you you are cutting away that grace, that favor that Yahweh has given them by placing children in their lives. If you are a wife and you have to submit to your husband, you have to obey him, and you don't submit, you don't obey, you are cutting that grace away from your husband. Because Yahweh has put you there so that you can be able to do that to him. If you are a husband and you don't love your wife, you are cutting away that grace for that woman. So those are the things. We have been placed beside one another to perform certain roles. We are ministers, trustees of grace. We are trustees of grace. If you don't do it, it will show. If you are a servant working for someone, if you work for someone, if you don't do your work, it will show. If you are a master, someone is working for you, you don't pay the person's salary, it will show in that person's life. So those are the graces that he has given us. And until we begin to learn to dispense it rightly, then the final things will not move on very well. And that's why we must have love towards one another. This is my role in this family, I must play my role. This is my role in this workplace, I must play my role. This is my role within the community of believers, I must play my role. Because there's a reason why Yahweh has put you there. There's a reason. If you don't do it, it becomes a problem for the whole. Not a problem for the whole. Praise Yahweh. And that is why that no man can be perfect. No situation can be fully perfect except the people there are all perfect. Because once there's a missing link, it will take another person to expend more grace to cover up for that person. So we have to be very sure that whatever thing that Yahweh has given unto us, we use it to his glory. We do it the way we are supposed to do it. And verse 11 says, if anyone speaks, let it be as the words of Elohim. If you are speaking, speak the words of Elohim. You have to speak what is in conformity with his word, not your own. Let it be according to what he has said. If anyone speaks, let it be as the words of Elohim. If anyone serves, let it be as with the strength which Elohim provides. As we have received his grace, dispense of it. If you are a teacher, as he has given you understanding, give it out. Don't add your own word. Don't remove from it. Give it as he has given you. So that Elohim might be praised in it all through Yeshua Messiah, to whom belong the esteem and the rule forever and ever. Amen. So we have to do what he has given us so that is going to be according to what Elohim has provided us, that all praise may return unto Yahweh. That all praise may return unto Yahweh. Then we do it through the Messiah, through Yeshua, the Messiah. And so it is very important that part of our living for Yahweh is to do what he has given us the grace to do. Bó ṣe fún wa ní agbára láti ṣe, òun ni a gbọ́dọ̀ ṣe. As he has given us the grace, as a husband, as he has given you the grace to do. As a wife, as he has given you the grace to do. As a friend to another person, as he has given you the grace to do. As a worker to your boss, as he has given you the grace to do, you have to do it. Because if you cut it back, what you are doing that you are cutting back the blessings of Yahweh in that person's life. And if you cut back the blessing in someone's life, the same way someone somewhere will cut your own blessing too. Even you have not been a good trustee. And you must understand that you are a trustee. What Yahweh has done is that you come into a person's life, he has handed over certain things that is meant for that person unto you. If you don't give it to that person, Yahweh can never reward you. And that's why if a person does not be a good wife, there is no way she can be rewarded by Yahweh. No matter, I keep on saying it.